Okay, what's up, Pacomi family? I'm here with the one and only Carson, man, my brother. He's
Yep.
been away for a little bit just because he's been playing soccer all over the place, and he's finally home for a little bit onto the next stretch. So it's good to have you back, man. And I know you've been recently back in the game.
Yeah, it's nice to be back. It's actually a good time to get back in the game because shit's going crazy right now. Like I've never seen Rizzo go past 6K or anything. So this is
Yeah,
nuts.
yeah, this is crazy. Like to think that if you would have bought a result last week for like 4.2,
Yeah.
it's insane.
That's well, yeah. I was hanging on to a lot of gems because I thought they were gonna come out with like a new release or something like this week. But I guess some didn't, and people just started pouring in.
Yeah.
Everything jumped.
It's hard too because you can't anticipate when there's going to be like a gem squeeze. So sometimes you're just like holding those gems, but then you're like, wait, I should have put them in collectibles because now they're all on fire.
For sure. Yeah, like we were talking about earlier before this. Like you should just have a collectible, like Secret Rare Spider-Man, for example, something you hardcore believe in and just hold it.
Yeah.
It's the smarter option to be honest, than just holding gems and trying to flip.
It's so true. Like staying convicted is the hardest part of it all because you could sit there for like 3 months just on a collectible that hasn't moved, but you know in your head that it's worthwhile, but it's just like nobody else knows. I was like Todd,
Yeah.
bro. Like I always tell people this story, like I'll never forget because if everybody doesn't know, when I bought a new place out in the suburbs of Toronto, I stayed at my family's home for a few months. And so I was with my brother when I found Vivi. And so I remember going into his room and I was like, yo, man, I was like, look at this app. And then you bought the Todd and you told me that day, you're like, we should just buy 100 of these.
Yeah, and we fucking didn't. But like the thing is, like coming new to this app, you would have never known. First of all, there was no market, there was no nothing, and there was only like maybe like four sets that were like released, maybe more, maybe like six sets.
Yeah.
So like you would have never known that this app is gonna get to where it is now. And I think honestly, COVID has helped that because a lot of people are indoors, like on their phones and like a lot on their like electronic devices. So
Yeah.
they're looking for something to do, and NFTs are like that thing right now.
It's true. I agree with you. I think COVID really helped like accelerate like the transition to NFTs being more mainstream because like now
Mhm.
everybody's stuck inside, can't go to the gym, can't do anything, at least in Canada.
Yeah,
So yeah, I agree, man.
yeah. But man, we need to talk about what do we think the next thing's gonna be? What's gonna jump next?
Yeah.
Like, of
Well,
course, we know the first set. Anything first set is gonna be huge.
yeah, I think and it's interesting because I'm seeing like Becky Cloonan, right? The
Hmm.
rare, and I find it interesting because it's like sitting at 1.8 to 1.9K, and just like a few days ago it was like $900. But I think a lot of people are like, would I rather that Becky Cloonan for 1.8K or a Robin FA limited to 1750 ultra rare?
Hmm.
Despite not being part of the first set, I feel like people are kind of like, and the other thing about Robin, it was released in 2020, and I feel like for OG stuff, people are gonna always like look back and be like, oh, that's a 2020 collectible. You don't have a 2020 collectible. This is an OG thing, you know? I don't know.
Yeah, that's like
It's crazy,
no,
right?
you're right. Because if you look, so like I was looking at prices obviously, because obviously if you want to make a good flip, you know what I mean, or if you want something to go up, you're gonna look at that stuff. And like Becky, there's a lot that are posted that maybe go up like maybe 10 of them are posted and they only go up by like $50 with 10 of them posted. Like
Right.
Robin, if 10 of them get bought, they go up like 1.2K. Like they go up quick, because the individuals that post them are posting them $100 difference each time.
Right.
Whereas like Becky, they're $5 difference. So like that's something to think about when buying a collectible. Like you said, like yeah, 2020 stuff, people are gonna be like when the app came out. Like in 5 years from now, all that shit's gonna be all that low mint, like Terry Dodson, holy man. That Terry Dodson, I guarantee it. Like, there's no way Harley Quinn, what was it, 19? Harley Pugh or whatever.
Yeah.
There's no way that's at like 11K. And Terry Dodson is 750 editions. The 19 is what is it, 500 editions?
Yeah.
So they're only 250 editions off, and it's like a difference of like 9 grand.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Like
totally agree.
that thing's about to jump. I can't get one right now, unfortunately. Don't have the gems, but I think that's gonna go up hard.
It's funny because the other day it was like 1.6K. Now it's 2.3 or something. But you're right. It's 750 editions. And that's in a very iconic costume she's wearing. Like you see it a ton in comic books and stuff. And see, this is where like, okay, so this is where I find it interesting because when you and I started, we thought scarcity was going to be like the number one factor in predicting some of
Hmm.
these outcomes because we thought they weren't going to drop such scarce collectibles ever again. Remember, like we look
Yeah.
at it and we're like, that's it. Like that's the last time they do 150 editions because we get more
Hmm.
users. They're just going to do like a 500 plus on anything.
Hmm.
And now at 1.5 million users, like we saw popularity was really winning kind of the debate. Like you saw Todd, Superman, Spider-Man, all these things go up crazy. But now it seems like people are going back into scarce shit. Like people are like buying up things that like are 750 editions, 450 editions. Like you saw the gorilla stuff. The apes go crazy today. They're at like
Hmm.
10K for a gold when it was like 3K last week.
I know. Honestly, this market is harder to predict than it ever has been before.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. First it was low mint, then it was popularity. Now it's low mint and popularity. Now it's like whatever the fuck you buy is going up. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true.
Buy fucking Cryptkins right now. They're going up.
Yeah, which is crazy, right? It goes to
Yeah.
show you the amount of users and this is where I think Reese said this perfectly. He's like, collect what you love, man. Because he's like, at
Mhm.
the end of the day, like it's not going to be mentally stressful for you. You're just going to be in there like, oh, I like these, and then eventually they go up, right? But you're right,
Yeah.
like,
It's a good point, actually.
but
Yeah,
it's
because
also, yeah.
you can go ahead.
No, you
Say.
continue.
No, I was just gonna say, uh, like, yeah, if you're always trying to make more gems,
Hmm.
you're not gonna make more gems because you're always in the panic mode. You know what I mean? That's straight FOMO.
Yeah.
Like you said before, you just gotta get something that you really think's gonna go up and just hold that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like hard too because a lot of like, let's say you bought into Rizzo now at like 14K,
Hmm.
right? Are you expecting it to go to 25? I mean, it's possible, but it's already done a pretty significant jump from 5 to 15. So like I would rather invest those gems into something that's like nobody's thinking about right now. Like try to zig when they zag. And
Hmm.
then once that rises, then I buy back into Rizzo on a dip. Like, you know what I mean? Like stuff like that.
Yeah, no, that is smart.
That's the only way to really make money is like for instance, we just bought into Robins when they were
Yeah,
like 1500 because we both thought, okay, Rizzo's like flying. So let's go get a Robin. And now Robin's at like whatever it is, 2400,
yeah,
500.
yeah. 23, 24. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
hard to say what's gonna go up, but I think 100% black and white series early collectibles, even the Joker, like Joker, yeah, 7,500 edition, so it won't go like nuts. You know, like Todd did. The reason Todd's is just because it's the first one ever, but I think Joker will touch like a K in the next like couple days.
Yeah, I agree. I think
You
it's
know,
like 7 or 800 now, anyways.
yeah, 750 or something.
Yeah. And it's nice to see because like some of these people that have been holding this stuff forever, right? Like have been like, dude, I have 50 Jokers, like they're $200. And it's just like, don't worry, like you'll get there one day.
I
You know,
know that's the thing I can't do.
yeah, it's hard
Yeah.
because I like to like move every day, right?
Hmm.
And
Well,
it's
even Supermans.
huh?
Imagine the guys holding the Supermans.
Oh my God, yeah.
You know, they fluctuated from 900 to 1.1K for like 4 months,
Yeah. And now it's
and
what,
now they
three?
what did you say?
It's 2.3 now, right?
Yeah, 2.3 or something. Yeah.
So I'm saying, man, it's crazy because like I don't know, when you and I got in this, obviously it would have been better to just hold on to the things that we had rather than flip for things that were like higher editions. But
Hmm.
I've also now made flips where I only had like 2 to 3K and turned it into like 30K because I got into the right thing. So it's like
Hmm.
it's interesting because some flips I've made, like I would have been better off holding, and then other things I did, it was actually the right move to flip. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Well, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. But I think like there's so much ways, like there's so much ways to lose money in
Yeah,
this app, like quickly, and there's so much ways to make money.
right.
You know, and I think like the main thing you're talking about, like zig when they zag. You know, when everybody's thinking about like let's say Mickey Mouse, for example, when Mickey Mouse is on the rise.
Yeah.
If you had if you had 6K and everyone's like, oh, buy two Mickey Mouses, they'll go to 10K, and you go into that. But if you would have just bought a fucking Rizzo, you would have been at 14K right now. You know, instead of and then the Mickeys, you would have went up maybe $2,000. And then with the Disney charge, the 8.5%, you're not even making anything.
Man, that's
So,
an amazing point because whenever I'm flipping now, I stay out of Disney because I'm like, this thing has to go significantly higher for me to
mhm.
make money. So I just go DC and I go for like decon and stuff because I'm like, this is the only things that like if I sell something, it's like I'm only gonna lose $20. As with Disney, you lose some like man, when we sell a partner statue, like I floored one of my no, not didn't floor, but I sold one of my like lower mint partner statues to make some gems and then buy a
Yeah,
floor partner. And I remember when I was selling, it was like I put it up at like 15K. It finally sold like $1,500 just like left.
yeah, gone.
wow, like if I wanted to buy back in, I'd be like almost buying back in at the floor. The floor was
Yeah, you
1200
would.
at the time, so I made like 1500 or something, you know?
I know that's the thing. Yeah, that's what a lot of people like. I feel like are realizing now too, and that's especially why they're going into these DC collectibles because it's pretty much only like everything is going up, but DC is really friggin' shooting up.
Yeah,
You know,
it
and
is.
that was their first what's it called deal anyways. So
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
people are realizing that.
And I think honestly, having some of those original like collectibles, like I think anything from the first set, even 2020 or even some of these original sets will make you look like you've been here from time. So like when you're in the VV-verse and
Mhm.
stuff, and you got like one of those Todds or Rizzo, people are gonna be like, wow, this guy is like either super intelligent or extremely rich, like one of the two.
Yeah, well, man, even looking at Rizzo, he looks like grand. You know, like
Yeah,
you look at Rizzo, like fuck, I'm pissed I didn't buy one to be honest.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, what can you do? You know what I mean? I'm not gonna dwell on it.
The hardest part is that like, okay, this is the hardest part about this whole process to me is when you
Mhm.
look at something and you're like, you like have the gems for it, but you overlook it because you think it's just gonna stay. So as an example, like right now I look at Prof and I'm like, oh, it's 2.5K. And
Yeah,
I'm like, but I bet you when it was if it goes to like 7K next week, I'll be like, like
for sure.
I wish I had Prof, you know?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so it's just interesting because like we do that all the time. And I think, people know this, but I sold off a bunch of stuff, which for a good reason to pay for a wedding and to put a down payment on a house. But like there's a lot of things in there that never really popped until these last few weeks that I'm like, man, like I would have
Well,
been sitting on so much right now.
yeah, we've never seen like a jump like this. Like this is like for everybody watching and for people that weren't on this app early, like seeing this, like seeing actually VV take off been pretty like surreal, you know? Like when you sell stuff and then all of a sudden the collectible you just sold pumps 5K, like our Givenchy posters, like we had a ton of Givenchy posters
Yeah.
and now they're at fucking 6K. Like if I would have known that these things were going for 250 gems, if I would have known that, I would have friggin' bought up like I would have went in debt buying these things, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's super interesting seeing right now like everything just go nuts. And then now if they sign, let's say they sign Pokemon or something, imagine what this app's gonna do. It's gonna be insane.
Dude. And I'm trying to like think about like the smartest ways to invest my money right now because like I've got a pretty good foundation. Like I've got like all the grails, so to speak, or I don't know what other people would consider grails, but that's for me
Mm-hmm.
like like Pride, Partner Statue, Secret Rare, Spotty, Todd, Superman, and like I don't have a Marvel one, but like that would obviously be a good one to have, the Secret Rare. But
Mm-hmm.
like for me, like when I like think about like okay, if we get Pokemon, like the market's gonna bleed. Like I personally am gonna sell off a ton of things
To
because
get
I
into it.
know that like that's one to be like the number one thing in my opinion that I think people are gonna FOMO into. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like at the same time, I'm gonna like lose out now on potentially selling off those grails. And what people keep saying about grails is like every time you sell them off and you try to buy back in, it just like never really works.
Gone.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's gone.
exactly. You know?
Yeah, I
So I
know.
don't know.
It's hard though, because like partner stats, like yeah, Pokemon's gonna be fucking big. It's gonna be huge, but like Disney's like massive. You know, Pokemon's massive, but Disney's massive too. So
Yeah.
it's hard to say. Like, yeah, you could sell off. Let's say fucking Pokemon gets released, and you sell off like your partner statue, and then you go buy into a bunch of Pokemon things. Yeah, you'll make money because they'll all go up. But at the end of the day, you're gonna be craving that partner statue, you know, and that thing might go to 100K. Like, if
Yeah.
there's only 4,000 in the world.
True. And that's why I'm trying to think like, okay, what's like going to be the most significant on the blockchain? Like, okay, first
Mm-hmm.
Disney NFTs partner being like that number one of all of that week, first DC, first VV NFT, first Marvel NFT. Like I'm just trying to think of like, okay, what's like the best bang for your buck here, like long term,
Mm-hmm.
Because like I look at like Robin, Nightwing, all those, I'm like they're sweet for like the interim, but I just don't know if like that people are gonna be like fantasizing about Robin in 10 years, being like, oh,
Well,
like
I don't know. I think there will be some hardcore DC like fans
mhm,
that will want them. Maybe not as much as Pokemon, let's say, because Pokemon touches worldwide, whereas like I think DC doesn't touch as much. But I think there definitely will be some like hardcore fans that are gonna pay a big buck for those.
true.
You know, because like look at we're talking about statues in the real life. You know, look at all those collectors. You go on YouTube, you search those real life statues. Everybody's fucking collecting those things.
Yeah, the statue collecting, and
And they
that's
look sick. I'm not even gonna lie. Huh?
yeah. Well,
What'd you
it's
say?
like I got a cause statue, but I was like, man, like now I'm like, I kind of wish I got like a Lord of the Rings statue or like a Voldemort or something like that, you know?
Yeah, something crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, those would be pretty sick to get. I'm not gonna lie, I get it, but no money.
So, so let's talk about you for a second here. So,
Mm.
I remember you had 3 sub 100 secret rare Spideys at one point. How did that feel?
Yeah, it's some low shit. It's too bad, man. I sold it off early,
Yeah.
and I didn't get that much for it because when I sold it off, VV freaking tanked. That's when Marvel came out, and then I don't know why, but when
Yeah.
Marvel came out, like maybe like I don't even know, a month after, maybe 2 weeks after, everything just started to go down. Like secret rare Spider-Mans were at what 1.3 or 1.6 or something.
Dude, they were literally 1.3. Like I think like I remember seeing them and nobody was buying. Risso was like 2K. Todd was like 2K.
Yeah, stuff was low.
Yeah.
And that's we should have zigged when they zagged. And that's why I had 10,000 gems just sitting there at the time. So that's when I bought up everything.
Yeah.
And then everything was still going down. So I was like, okay, I was like, this app's tanking, you know. And then I get out the next week, fucking Secret Rare Spider-Man up to 14K, then 15, then 60. And then I'm like, all right, man, I want to kill myself.
Yeah.
It's so bad. But there was so much stuff we had like we could talk about, you know what I mean? Like you had all the Todds back
Dude,
in the day. Like I don't even know how much you had, but you had a ton,
I know.
you know?
It's just weird. Like that's what I was saying. Like this is like why I've learned from that because it's if you believe in like an NFT, especially if it has like so much significant value proposition, like on the blockchain or like for instance,
Mhm.
like Todd, like how many things does Todd have? First ever DC NFT, first VV NFT, first appearance of Batman. It's by Todd McFarlane. Like it's got like, you know, hundreds of things that you could talk about why it's important. And at
But
the time we knew that. We were like,
yeah,
yeah, this is definitely a good one, but nobody else knew that or nobody else cared. So we were just holding
they
this.
didn't care at all. Remember? They
Yeah,
didn't. Nobody cared. If you had a Todd, it
nobody
was a joke.
cared,
Yeah.
right? And it's like that's why you have to stay convicted in your own like thought process because like there's been so many times where I didn't trust myself and then I sold something off and then that thing ran. So now I'm like I'll give you an example. Like I bought the secret rare Spider-Man at 18 grand.
Hmm.
And people message me being like, that's so stupid that you did that. Like, why would you spend like, bro, like we're gonna have the cash out in a week or two. And
That's
I
like 30
literally
something.
changed the dynamic. Like after that, the thing ran to 26K. And I remember at the time being like, man, this is cheap for like where my head sees it going. You know?
Hmm.
And I'm like, I just gotta stay true to myself now. Like,
Yeah. Well, like if you see it back in the day, Todds were at $80. Nobody wanted them. You know, everyone's like, oh, if you buy Todd, it's stupid.
yeah,
Now they're at almost 5K. They're at 4.8K. So if Todd could run up to that with 7,500 editions, Spider-Man could easily go to like, let's say Todd goes to 10K. Spider-Man will for sure go to 50, 60K.
yeah,
You know, first ever Marvel licensed NFT of all time. And NFTs are just getting bigger and bigger. And like the
yeah.
good thing that VV has that no other NFTs like on pretty much like yeah, there probably is some, but I'm not sure. But on OpenSea and whatever, OpenSea.io, like they aren't licensed by huge companies.
Hmm.
You know, VV is like that. That's what I think that their little niches that they have over like all the NFTs is everything's licensed and owned by these huge companies. It's almost like I feel like buying a share in the company, you know, in a way.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
It
what
feels
it
like a
feels like.
stock.
Yeah, it feels like a stock that you're holding, but it just looks sick,
It's true. It's
you
true.
know?
That's a good way to look
But
at it. Like if you have like you should look at your portfolio and it's just like DC, Marvel, Disney,
imagine
and you're like, you know, like
that'd
30K
be sick.
here, 40K there.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
But
But you know what I was thinking about too? If if we have to like if let's say these NFTs you could transfer to OpenSea.io and like transfer them on the Ethereum blockchain,
yeah.
will Todd matter as much as we think? Because yeah, I was the first one on VV, but on the blockchain, like if it's on that now, who cares? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
so this is like a huge debate because like I think if the app is like closed, which I think it will stay a lot, like I think a lot of things won't be interoperable right away. I think a lot of
Yeah.
it's gonna stay on the app. I think a lot of the decon and artist stuff is going to go off right away. But I think a lot of like the bigger licenses in my like I mean I could be totally wrong, but will
Hmm.
stay on. And so within Vivi, you're right, like Todd is number one. But outside of Vivi, and this was my explanation to other people, is like if I'm looking at like OpenSea or on Immutable as an example, and I just see a bunch of Batmans from DC, I'm gonna go with the ones that has the fewest mints and that I think looks the best. And I won't even know what first appearance means. Like if I'm
Yeah,
being realistic, like first appearance is a very it's a collector's terminology. Like you can't expect the whole world to be like, oh, but that's the FA. Like nobody knows that. It's just because we're so ingrained into VV that we
yeah, you're right.
understand this. But I feel like that, in my opinion, that's why Rizzo, like you said, could be do a lot better than what people think because it's like the number one in the black and white series, and it's like 1/4 the mints of Todd. But I think if VV does blow up to like 25 million users, then I believe that like Todd will be like the holy grail, you know?
Mhm.
But I don't know. It's hard.
I know what you're saying about how like big collectors will know FA and stuff like that because like look at Charizard for example in the real world, like the Pokemon card.
Yeah.
We obviously know first edition Shadowless is the best one you could get. You know what I mean? If you can get that like a 10 grade, like it's unreal price.
Yeah.
But like if somebody like looked at a regular Charizard base set, like if they looked at one not Shadowless, had the shadow, and it wasn't first edition, and then they looked at one first edition Shadowless, they think it's the same fucking card. You know, they
Exactly.
wouldn't know the difference. They just be like, oh yeah, this one's this. Like this one, even though it has like first edition on it, they wouldn't even know the difference of it. So I know what you're saying. People are gonna go buy what looks cool and what they're into.
Right. So that's like a $10,000 to a $220,000 difference. And like, so if you
Yeah.
think about that, like scarcity is the biggest component as to why that Charizard sells for more because there's fewer
Mhm.
first edition and shadowless like together. And so it's like that must makes me think like Rizzo might actually do like a lot better than what people are getting it credit for because they'd be like, oh, it's the first ever set, ultra rare, first edition, number one in the black and white series. It looks insane. Like let's just
Looks
be
unreal. It looks
yeah,
like the Ronnie Coleman.
it looks
Ronnie
like a
Coleman.
Wales NFT. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks insane.
But the thing that I love about Todd that I feel like is because it's undisputed. Like you can't like there's never going to be another first VV NFT. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So
Mhm.
you can have like first DC, first Marvel, first Givenchy, first whatever, but like you can't ever replace first VV NFT. And I feel like that would just be such a OG collectible because you're like, yeah, this is the first thing that ever dropped and I own one. You know what I mean?
I know what you're saying. Yeah,
Like
it's
it's a
a
rite of
hardcore flag.
passage. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, man. Like because some of the stuff, like this is what I always say is like, back in the day, I was buying Nightwings for 1,300 US. Remember that? Like back
Yeah,
in
they stayed at
April.
that price for like a year.
Yeah, you know, because again, within that little small ecosystem, like I thought that thing was gonna fly. I think the highest it ever got to was like 2.5, or maybe not even like 2.2.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's probably at like maybe 2.2 max. It's probably
Yeah.
gonna touch its peak like in the next day or two.
Wow.
And it's crazy because that's Nightwing's 1850 and
Mm.
it's FA. And it's probably in my opinion, it's the nicest looking collectible on the entire app.
Dude, it's sexy. I agree.
It looks sick as like holy shit, it looks sick. He
Yeah,
looks
yeah.
fucking ripped. Like he looks insane, you know? Like
And
that I could see following a Rizzo in price
hmm.
just
And
because
that's
of
the
look.
thing, right? Like if Rizzo's 15K right now,
Mhm.
and like Nightwing was like 1.4 at the time that jump happened. Are you better off going and buying 10 Nightwings? I would argue you are. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like then
For
to
sure, I would too.
and then just wait till those pump and then go buy your Rizzo. But
Mhm.
like that's kind of where I'm at now too. Is like we haven't like right now things feel lopsided. Like it feels like there's a group of whales that are going around and they're just taking down collectibles. They're like, let's hit Rizzo, and then it just flies, and then you're like, what the fuck's going
Yeah.
on? And then the next one's like the gold ape, and then you're like just trying to catch up the whole time,
I know you're playing
you
catch
know?
up, literally. You're the
But it's
FOMO
like,
guy. You're trying to get in.
yeah, but this is what I'm saying. So like right now I've got like Robin and Nightwing, and I'm like, okay, I know those are gonna pump.
Mhm.
Because like I have to stay convicted because I'm like, okay, like those are still important. They're still limited in quantity. They're still part of like the first ever collectibles on VV. It's season one. So it's like you just gotta believe in it, you know what I mean? And like so
For sure.
instead of being
Well,
like, let me sell this off and then go buy like
yeah,
Lumpy
go buy this.
Princess, you know?
Well, man, we've noticed too, like trading our stuff within the past year, you end up in the same fucking place. You trade everything,
Yeah.
you get this, you get the Spider-Man, you sell the Spider-Man, then you go buy these Batmans, then you sell those Batmans, then you get into Disney. And then you go back and you buy your fucking Todds again. You're right
Yeah,
back to where you started.
it's true.
You
It's
know, and
true.
if you just would have relaxed and just held what you had, you would have been set. So I think definitely Robin will go hard. I think will go up hard because like that's I forget what it's called. What's that called when like the main character has like a sidekick or whatever. Like
Yes.
Robin's Batman's sidekick, you know?
Yeah, Batman and Robin, like you hear those two together, and then Nightwing's the evolved
Hmm.
version of Robin. So it's like, like, and then there's wait till like, you got more villains. Like imagine Bane comes out and it's limited to 1750. Like, and the other cool
Yeah,
thing too is like these future black and white series, like likely their ultra rares are going to be more than 3,000 editions. They'll probably
true.
be, let's say it's like 5,000 editions for the UR. Like, how sick is that going to be? Because all those first ones, especially like Rizzo, Nightwing, Robin, and like, well, actually, Mike Magnolia has like 3,250 or something. So those
Which
three,
one? Oh, Michael.
Dad
Yeah,
bod, yeah, Dad bod,
yeah,
which
that
is,
bud.
yeah. So, I mean, yeah, like, and it's the other crazy thing too now, and this is where it becomes a little bit worrisome on my end, is like
Hmm.
these attacks can get very coordinated. So, for instance, like if there's like pump groups of like 1,000+ people, they can just be like, okay, everybody go buy Nightwing. Boom, like let's say like
On.
100 them off, and then now Nightwing's like 7K, and so like that's the freaky part is my point is like collecting knowledge might not necessarily be as important as like just understanding where these pumps are going to be, because despite like it being based off good or bad reasoning, people are going to FOMO into whatever's pumping. I've seen that,
Yeah,
like people would just be like, oh, lumpy space is going, okay, everyone into
yeah,
lumpy
let's
space.
get in.
Right, it's true. Like, if I'm sure if
Yeah,
like three influencers were like lumpy space to the moon, people would be like, all right, let's go buy it
yeah,
up.
let's go on Lumpy Space. Yeah. Well, that's what we talked about too. All you need is like a Logan Paul, for example, to come into and this app,
Right.
right? Let's say Logan Paul comes in and then he's like, "Oh, like yeah, I like Lumpy Sprays, or like I like this Cryptkin." You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like the Bigfoot Cryptkin, like one of the little shit ones. And
Yeah.
then everyone's like, "Holy shit, Logan Paul like loves that one." And then everyone just starts buying it. It goes up to
Yeah.
freaking $300, and it's at like 15.
True.
You know?
And all of a sudden, like Yetis are going for 1K because it's Logan Paul's favorite one. And it's true.
Yeah. Like
And
oh
yeah,
yeah, remember what you talked about Golden Moogly, like making NFT Pirates logo as like imagine, like I forget how you said it, but
yeah, if it's like part of my brand.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like imagine Logan's brand was the Yeti,
Yeah.
like something like that, and then it's just gonna pop. That's it.
True. Like Logan's face like this, and then like 50 Yetis behind him, and then that's it. And then that one's, and that's what I'm saying. Like that's the part like where, like, from being a collector like us, like you can't, like you can make these accurate predictions based on what you think is like important, but you'll never really know what could still go up in value like exponentially. Like some of these things that I've been seeing, I'm like, I didn't call that. Like, you know?
Yeah, yeah, it just went up. And we're like, okay, that's random.
Yeah. Like
Hmm.
even like for instance, like the comic book, like Marvel #1, right? You look at the secret rare, it's like 32 grand. Then I'm like, I had like one of those ultra rare ones forever, and I'm still holding it, but it's like
Yeah,
1.1K right now. And I'm like,
I
it's
know what's going on.
editions, right?
Hmm.
And I think to myself, like, okay, like imagine if they made the secret rare 2,400 editions of Marvel, it'd probably be 20 grand. But it's just because they have already a secret rare of 600 that people like psychologically just want the best of the best. They don't give a crap about like the second best. But then go look at
Yeah,
Spider-Man, bro.
I
Spider,
noticed that
yeah, the
the
UR
ultra
store
just pumped. Yeah,
exactly
it's at 4K now. Something.
right. So I mean,
Mhm.
shouldn't that what happen? Like that's almost like indicative of what should happen for like that comic, right?
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say where the market. Like I think everything will go up. I think that comic is just like we're talking about earlier. Stay convicted. Like I think that comic, you hold that for another 2 weeks, it will go up to 3K, 4K.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a matter of time before people pump into that one. But I think there's a ton of stuff on the app right now that's like that. That's like you should be going in on. But
Hmm.
like, oh, I don't know if it's gonna go. Whereas this is going up right now, so let me get on that, and then you lose money because now that starts going down.
Right.
So I don't know. It's hard to say.
And it's also like being bold. Like I bet you right now, like which I'm not gonna do, but just
Hmm.
hypothetically, if I sold my secret rare Spider-Man and go and went and bought like a Marvel #1 secret rare, I bet
Yeah,
you that would actually be the right move, because I bet you that's gonna pump now to like 50K. People are gonna get tired of the collectibles. Some new crazy comic's gonna drop, and then everything's gonna pump back over there. But it's like I would never take that risk, but I feel like there's people that would, and like,
yeah,
and it's crazy because I remember back in the day, like Marvel 1, I went to $50,000, and the secret rare Spider-Man was like 4 or 5K at the time.
hmm,
I remember one guy told me a story where he bought the secret rare Spider-Man instead of Marvel 1 when it was like 1.8K. And he was like so mad at himself. He was like, and then he's like, now his secret rare Spider-Man's worth more than Marvel 1.
Yeah, and he's like, okay,
Like,
now
yeah, he's like, now I feel better. But it's just insane because like things could change like that. And it's just like, again, you got to stay convicted into what you're buying, right?
Mhm.
Can't chase that stuff.
Yeah, you can't buy it, and then if it goes down $400 or a grand, you can't be like, okay, I'm selling now.
Right.
You gotta hold it because there's gonna be time pretty much for. I'm not gonna say every collectible because there's gonna be some I think that are gonna get fucking screwed on this app when everything big happens.
Yeah.
But I think there will be a time for these well-known collectibles, like all Spider-Mans, all the Batmans, everything that matters. That's gonna go nuts, no matter what you're holding.
Hmm.
Even Harley, like FA Harley Quinn, FA Joker, the friggin' FA Penguin. Like Penguin, that's a sick one too because it's so like they won't release more penguins. I don't think. It's a pretty rare collectible. So little stuff like that, I think it is definitely gonna pump up hard, especially yeah because they won't release other penguins. Whereas Batman's, there's already like what is there like 11 Batmans?
Dude, it's an amazing point you make because if we take from the comic book world, like we can almost expect everything FA to have significance on this app. Like that's
Mhm.
actually meaningful. Like for instance, you go to a comic book shop, right? They're like, this is the first appearance of Sideshow Bob, and I'm like, who the fuck is that? But it's going
Yeah,
for $1,000. You know what I'm trying to say?
yeah,
It's really $1,000 comic book, and it's like, oh yeah, that's Sideshow Bob. But if you want to like the first appearance of Black Panther, 9.8, you're paying 25 grand. So it's like, okay, like so what can we expect on Vivi then? Like, could we see something similar here where like you just said, like maybe FA Penguin does go to 5K and we're all sitting here going like, man, you could have literally just bought any of these FAs,
yeah. And that's like you're talking about with the comics. We see that everywhere. FA Daredevil, FA, all that stuff is just going up. First appearance. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
In the comic world. But
I know. And so here's another question for you. So like,
Mhm.
okay, so this is where I had like before I was like almost like FA means everything. Like if it's not a first appearance, I won't buy it for the most part because I look at first appearance like as a safeguard because I'm like, okay, if Recur comes out with like a Disney license, if other NFT platforms come out like with a Disney license or Marvel license or whatever, then
Mhm.
having a first appearance would just signify that it's the first one on the blockchain and therefore like anything that comes after it, people would still likely want that first one, just like we see in comic books, right? Like the first
Yeah.
appearance of Spider-Man compared to the 252nd appearance of Spider-Man, like goes for a lot more. And I guess like where I'm going with this is like if I look at Captain America, the first appearance of Captain America, that Marvel Mighty is like 28,000 editions, but the secret rare is 1,000. And I'm like, okay, despite that other one being FA, even though I wish like that Captain America had it, like I don't think
Yeah.
it takes away that much from that NFT. Do you know what I'm trying to
Mhm.
say? Like, I don't
I know
know.
what you're saying.
Yeah,
It's really like in that scenario, like I think they really screwed up on that one.
I know, I agree.
But that's like in that scenario, it's hard to say what should go up because like obviously you're comparing the Spider-Man to
Mm,
Captain America,
mm,
and then obviously yeah they released the Marvel whatever Mighties. So it's really hard to say what's gonna go up in that scenario, but I think the Marvel Mighties or whatever, I think those are at least I think they're really underrated right now. Like if you look at Funko Pops, right, in the real world,
yeah,
some of those are selling for like I don't even know, like freaking $300 for like a decent one.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
A pretty rare one selling for like let's say $300. So I feel like these little Marvel Mighties are like those Funko Pops. And I think all these kids, because if this app gets big, I think all those kids in the future, like when we used to trade Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh as kids, I
Mm,
think this is gonna be the new like trading app where kids go to
right.
school and they're like, oh, look at my collection. And they have all the shit ones, obviously, because Rizzo's are at fucking 100K. So they're not gonna have that. And all these kids are gonna be showing off their little friggin' Marvel Mighties. So I don't know. I think they will pump a bit.
So that's interesting because like when I look at this, I'm like, hey, what is the target audience right now for like let's just say like Tokidoki and like these Marvel Mighties? Like, is there enough
Mhm.
people on the app? I know if we get like gamification for a lot of this stuff, it'll go up.
Yeah.
Like, is there enough people on the app that like think this is so sick that they want to hold it? But I mean, like within our like, because I think the like if I look at like YouTube analytics, the majority of people that are in this stuff are like 25 to 54. Like that's like
Yeah.
with like 35 being like the average. And so I'm just like, okay, what would be like most important to a 35-year-old? Probably like a Darth Vader. or like a first appearance of Batman or one of those things, you know? So I'm like,
Mhm.
I just don't know what our target demographic is. Like maybe in the future you will have kids coming on and buying this, but are they going to be buying like ponies for like $300, or are their parents going to be like, hey, just go to like Toys R Us and get something, you know?
Yeah, well, it's hard to say though, because like kids these days, no kids go to Toys R Us. You know, like kids these days,
True.
they
It's
love
done.
they love video games
Toys
and
are
shit.
done, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, they're obsessed with video games. So
Yeah.
if Vivi becomes some next metaverse where you could put on the headset and get into it, you know, and collect all these apps, and then yeah, use these little Marvel Mighties for games and all this stuff, that's for sure gonna be the next like big collectible stuff for these kids. Oh, there's the Eternals.
Yeah, so my brother actually got me this for Christmas, man. So thanks for that, bro.
No
That's pretty sweet.
problem.
9.4 grade. You all know this comic, first appearance of it's on VV. So yeah, I just want to show that. Thanks, dude. It's pretty sick. It's cool seeing things that are so old. 1976. That's crazy.
I know. I remember when I was looking at that, I was like, "Holy shit, this is actually sick to look at."
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting into the real comics now too. You know, but I only like graded stuff, to be honest.
Same. I
Like
don't like. I like.
everything I get, I just want to grade.
True. So they had a Amazing Spider-Man 252 at the comic book store the other day that we go to here. That's
Oh
local.
shit, yeah.
But it was $160, and it was like probably only like a 5.5 grade. It was raw. Uh,
Mm,
like if you were to get it graded, that's what the guy said it would probably come out as. Uh,
yeah.
but it was like 160 plus 60% off. So I could have got the comic for like $60. And then I showed him, then I was like, I showed him this comic and I was like, okay, so I'm like, this is $60 to buy. And I'm like, check this out. And I showed him Vivi and I showed him like the common cover was going for like 3.7K. And he thought it
Yeah.
was like madness. He's like, what? He's
He's
like,
like, what the fuck?
and I was telling him about like the scarcity aspect. I was like, because there's only like 1,000 that Marvel will ever mint from these. And he's like,
Yeah.
but you can buy it for $60, the real thing. And I was like, I was like, dude, it's about scarcity. He
Yeah.
just looked at me
Well,
like I was crazy.
man, that's something that comic that they released. I don't even believe in it, to be honest. I won't get into that because I think that's 1,000,000% market manipulation, especially with the ultra and everything.
So the only thing I can say to that is that like despite it not necessarily being that popular, like if there's like clubs or utility or anything that's added to it, it could make it like this exclusive little club. And like, you know, I've got one of my friends is saying like, man, like rich people want what other people can't buy. And
Yeah.
so like, if like I know what you're saying, but I'm like, man, what, like that secret rare, there's 40 or there's 35 available to the public. Like that's like scarcer than anything other than the James Bond tickets.
Yeah, I was supposed to say James Bond.
You know, so it's like I just don't. But like, imagine if they come up with it. Like VB did say they have one of ones coming too. So then let's just say they have like another 100 comic books released with the same mint run. Then I agree it would likely tank. But if this is like the lowest comic book run ever in existence, who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to say. But man, I
Yeah,
personally, I don't think one of ones will even be that expensive. I think they'll probably go for like 20K or something. I
yeah.
don't think they'll be $1,000,000 collectibles unless it's like I don't know, like some one of one of
Mickey
Spider-Man or something.
Mouse. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, you know, if it's a one of one of like a random painting from some fucking random guy,
yeah.
they're not gonna go for much at all. It's gonna be the same thing that's like on Ethereum right now, on the Ethereum blockchain, on OpenSea. Because like I think having a collection, like if you look at Bored Ape Yacht Club, like in on OpenSea or whatever, all these celebrities have,
Yeah.
and that they're all buying, it's almost like you say, it's like being part of a group. Like you want to be part of a group, you know, you want to hold something that like a certain amount of people hold because that
Mhm.
gives it value. Like if I draw a painting in my fucking house, you know, and it's the only painting, who gives a fuck? But if there's like an exact collection of like 8,000 and it's this rare to the whole world and like 8,000 people could hold it, I think that would be like much more sought after.
Yeah.
It's hard to say what I'm trying to explain, but it's like I don't know, that's just how I feel about it.
Yeah, I mean, like, and the other thing I look at it too is like, okay, like with Board Ape Yacht Club, right? Like they have like
Mhm.
utility, they have like, you know, parties and different things that they give out to their like users. And I mean, obviously it's a worldwide sensation, so celebrities are just buying in because it like gives them that social capital. But I'm like,
Yeah,
dude, what are like blue chip companies gonna do? Like if we think Board Apes, like which is just kind of like transpired out of nowhere, has this kind of utility, like they might be like, all right, all Disney partner statue holders, not only do you get like full access to every Disney theme park across the world, you're also going to get like, you know, discounts at stores. You'll get like access to like Club 33. Like there could be some things that we don't even know what's coming yet. That's like already in talks. Like we saw it. Like okay, James Bond tickets, bro. Literally like giving you like they're like, okay, if whoever has these gets to go to the movies. And it's like that to me was like indicative of like what's gonna happen next. It
What's
was
to
like
come?
that was like prototype. And it was like
Yeah.
you like imagine Secret Rare Spider-Man gives you like free access to all movies that are like Marvel related or Spider-Man related forever. Like
Well, man, it could, because if you think about it, there's only 1,000 across the friggin' entire world.
yeah,
So like 1,000 people getting free tickets to to Marvel movies, that's fine. They're missing out on what? Friggin' like $1,300 or some shit,
yeah.
or like what would it be? I don't even know. But
Yeah,
you know, they're not missing out on much money,
yeah, it's like
so they
it's like
wouldn't give
these
a fuck.
tickets cost like 25 grand. Like you said, it's like $13 and it's like a
Yeah,
nice little added utility thing that they could just, you know, do, right?
yeah, just add the people just to hype it up that much more.
That's true. And then
So
Disney Plus subscription, that was already a thing with
yeah,
Disney.
that's crazy.
So there's so many things that could still happen. And I
Mhm.
mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, I think we're just crazy lucky, man, because you know, back in the day, I remember you and I used to think like, man, what if Superman goes to 50K? And at
Yeah,
that time, people thought you were crazy for saying that. But now at 2.2K, it's like, well, it's only
that
a
crazy.
25x, right? And like half the world doesn't even know about this. Sorry, not half, like 99.9% of the world doesn't know about this. We got what, a million?
That's the biggest thing. I panic sometimes because I'm like, holy shit, like I need to get this collectible, I need to get this.
Yeah.
And then I'm in the car or something with like my friends, and like I don't know, nobody even knows about this app. Or you go to the up the street to the store. All these people working their asses off. Like I'll never forget. Do you remember that day I sold the ultra rare DeLorean for $2,200 US?
Yeah, I remember that.
And I remember me and you went to Tim Hortons that morning after we sold it to like celebrate. And
Yeah.
we said, we're like, man, here they're like, there's these poor people, like they're not poor, but like it's sad that they're working there and they're making like 2,200 US dollars. Like we're in Canada, so 2,750 like Canadian. That's taking them like over a month to make.
Yeah.
And I just made it from flipping a picture of a car.
It's
You
insane.
know,
It's insane.
it's unreal. Like it's the money you can make in this app is like unheard of.
It's crazy too because I remember back in the day, like when before everything ran, like Donnie was like 17K. Like that was
Mhm.
considered like the grail, right? Like nothing was really selling for more than like 20 grand, let's say.
Yeah,
And so I remember at the time, like I was saying, like, man, you might be able to have NFTs that buy you a car someday. And now my secret rare Spider-Man can buy me a car.
yeah, easily.
Like how insane, like think about that, bro. Like it's like, and so the coolest
Weird.
part to me is like in the future, like I don't even know if I want to sell it, is what I'm trying to say. Like this, it reminds me of
Yeah.
like what CryptoPunks did. Remember there was this one guy, he didn't want to sell, he got offered 9.9 million to sell off one of his CryptoPunks or something. And he said, I
Hmm.
don't want to sell it because it's like part of who I am now. It's my brand, it's what gives me social capital, it's how I'm
Yeah.
known. And so I'm like, man, like maybe the secret rare Spider-Man is something that like in the future, like it'll be like wanted by millions and millions of people, you know?
Hmm.
Like if it's already not, like I'm sure everybody in VV, if they don't have one, wants one. I mean, maybe they don't, but
Oh
if
fuck.
you're buying NFTs, you want one.
Yeah, to get mine back, holy shit, I'd do anything.
Man,
But yeah, no, it's definitely like hard to say what the future holds, because like NFTs could just be a big fucking thing that just takes a shit right now, and then everyone gets at NFTs and thinks it's stupid, or it
yeah.
could be the future of everything. You
But
know?
I'm on the train that believes it's the future of everything. And the other
Yeah.
thing I was gonna say too, bro, is like we have 1.5 million users now in the app. So it's
Hmm.
like all these people that are coming in also want to protect their investment. Like they don't want to like sell things off or like leave the party, or maybe some of them do, but I'm saying like if they want this stuff to just continue to rise, they're gonna start talking to their friends about NFTs. They're gonna support NFTs. They're gonna like, you know what I mean? You have like
Hmm.
you have all these other huge NFT projects coming out. So I believe like 99% of NFTs will collapse at some point, but like the things that are like backed by blue chip and the first of them, how could you collapse that? Like how could you say to somebody that's not important? Yeah, Todd Batman doesn't matter. Well, no, it does. Like
Yeah,
it
it's huge.
started Eevee. It was DC's first NFT. It was their transition to the digital realm. Like Disney's
Hmm.
partner statue, it's a joke. Are you you're the joke? Like, you know, you can go off about why, but if you're like holding like Slinky number 3272 from some random artist, you know,
Yeah.
or cow nipple 63, or
Yeah.
like bag of potatoes number
Yeah.
787.
You're
Like
fucked.
that's what I'm saying. And there's
Yeah.
lots of people like that on OpenSea that are holding these things that are extremely speculative. Like I saw one NFT was like blinds for your home.
Holy shit. That's fucked.
Yeah, and it was like it wasn't crazy amount. It was like $700, but I was like, I don't even know how like that can get sold. You know, like you can buy
Yeah,
better
you're
blinds
buying
for
fake
700.
blinds. Holy shit. I don't even know what the fuck I would never buy that.
Yeah, so
Like, yeah.
you know, I just think it's interesting because I feel like a lot of people are trying to downplay VV because they're
Mhm.
like, oh, well, you can't cash out yet. They're not real NFTs. Well, now they are like 100%. You can't deny that they're not real because they're on friggin' layer two. Uh,
Yeah.
but it's just like now it's the cash out thing, right? And I really think that like the cash out, like if you look at NBA Top Shots, they only had like $1,000 to $2,000 a day that you could take out. You know that?
That
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you know what? Vivi will 1,000,000% do that because
yeah,
when you transfer gems right now, you can only transfer 500 to somebody max.
exactly.
You're so right, bro. There's like I think people are gonna be selling off stuff,
Yeah,
but it won't be as dramatic as we think if like you're saying that, you can only cash out $1,000 a day. But at the same time, if you have 30 grand sitting there and you cash out $1,000 a day, it doesn't really
yeah.
matter.
It doesn't really matter. I guess the hard part would be like they obviously want to incentivize you to stay in, but like at the same time, like imagine all that money leaving too. But what I'm trying to say is like I think what for me, if I'm an investor that has a lot of Ethereum, I'd be like, okay, not only is this NFT important, it's from a huge brand. I can also cash out as well. So if there is any risk, like I can get out of there. And I just don't like I think that's an added incentive, but I really don't see this dip that everyone was like talking about this crazy dip, and I'm like there's still I think gonna be a dip. Obviously, there are always market cycles, but I don't think it's gonna be like catastrophic where like you're gonna be able to get a Secret Rare Spider-Man again for 4K. Like I just don't
Oh,
think that.
no way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
there's no.
might drop down 15, maybe like
Mhm.
12. We might have something crazy like that, but I don't even think that's gonna happen,
Well, I think you will. I think you will see a dip. Yeah, not like an extreme dip where shit's like you're buying like Todd Batman back at $50. You're not going to see some crazy dip where everyone just wants to get out. But
Yeah.
I think you will see a dip, and then like you said, you're going to see all these big time Ethereum guys, like all these big time crypto heads that are just going to load VV and they're going to buy up all these NFTs because NFTs is the new thing. And yeah, like we talked about, like licensed NFTs on top of that,
Man.
like they're in it, man. So I think, yeah, you'll see a dip, but you're going to see it go right back up like within a week or two. And they're probably going to release like Pokemon or something when they release the cash out. So
Wow.
that way that you don't see a dip because people are gonna be like, holy shit, do I pull out right now? Or do
Yeah.
I go buy Pokemon?
Yeah,
You
and then
know?
you'd be like, no, I gotta go buy Pokemon.
Yeah, you're gonna FOMO in hard. You're not cashing out.
Man,
Why would you?
what's actually super interesting too is like some guys, I think it was like the VV Army Discord. They're like this like
Mhm.
really this super like smart bunch of guys, right? And they were talking recently about like, Frank Kozik,
Yeah.
how like the Labbits or whatever are gonna be able to, I think, like mutate with some of these gold apes. So there'll be like special Labbits that will like incorporate characteristics from gold or from ape holders from those decon apes, the X large
Mhm.
ones. So there's
Okay.
like the brown one, I was thinking that's like 1,300 editions, the silver a
Wrong.
thousand. Yeah, and the gold is like 48. And so like supposedly like each one of them will be able to like merge with a labbit. So could you imagine like you take your gold ape, you go merge it with like a labricorn, the one that spits rainbows, and now you have like a gold ape spitting rainbows. And the biggest I think like what's the word? Like thing against some of our NFTs on Vivi is that they're not like individualized. Like if you look at like Bored Apes, they all like each one has unique characteristics.
Yeah.
It's like with us, it's all like one of the same. The only thing that distinguishes it is the serial number.
Hmm.
And so there's a lot of hesitation, I think, from people on that front as well, because they're like, okay, I'm just getting a carbon copy of the last one. So now if you have like this mutation effect, I mean, I don't know. I just think it's interesting, like if you can start like, or like if you can start getting your Todd signed, or you can add like a gold cape to your Todd, like you can start like making it unique.
Yeah. Well, I know a lot of NFTs on OpenSea. Say you have two of them, you could like I forget what it's called, but you could like burn one of them
Yeah.
and then get like so they wear like let's say these apes, for example. They wear like let's say they have different hats. You could burn one of your apes. This is just an example. I don't know if you could do it with Bored Apes, but I know you can't do this with some collectibles. but you could like burn one of your apes, so now it's no longer on the blockchain. It's gone. And now let's say there's 800 or 8,888. Now there's 8,887 because it's gone. You burned it. But then it gives you like a rare piece to add to your other ape. So not only does it shorten how much like apes are made, it also like brings more rarity to the one you have.
Wow.
You know, so if they start doing that with Veve, like if you could short, like if you could almost burn some of them in a way, like you can do on the blockchain, that would be like, that would definitely bring the price up.
Man, that's crazy. And you know that Veve is going to be able to like, you can burn NFTs with Veve as well. Did you see that for like master collector points?
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah. And then you can also be able to rent your NFTs out as well. So like any NFT in my opinion, that's like super scarce, limited, popular, like things that are the coolest of the coolest on Veve will probably be rented out for big money in the
Yeah,
future.
you're gonna get those posers at the parties. Yeah, I got a golden moogly. It's not his.
Yeah, exactly. Renting it out for $85.
Yeah, it gets all the girls. Then the morning of, the golden moogly's gone.
Yeah, yeah. Got you.
I got you rented. 50
Well,
bucks.
it's no different than somebody like renting a Lamborghini and like posing
exactly.
as like a high, like, you know, like nice suit Lamborghini. Meanwhile, you only spent $400 that day. And
Literally.
yeah.
Yeah. And you got 10 girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny, man. It'd be so funny.
Yeah, it'll probably be able to like you'll probably be able to like, you know, see if that person's renting it out or not. Like I doubt like it
True.
would, like maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I
Like,
wought say owner. Like, you know how it's owner on ours or whatever?
True. Like, you know, like they say it's gonna show like the serial number and stuff. So
yeah. Just says rented on the bottom.
Oh my god, dude, that's hilarious.
That looked fucked.
Yeah. And this is the other thing that I'm like, you know, thinking about too is like in the future, they're gonna have like those master collector status points and like badges beside your name, depending on how many collectors you have. So if you're in like the Veveverse, like I'm just gonna be interested to see like, you know, is it just the people that have the most collectibles that are gonna stand out, or will we still get some like, what is the word, like glory because we're NFT pirates or not? You know?
Yeah, it's funny to me because I don't know, I read over that whole thing, and I think, to be honest, that might change. Like I think for sure people, like, I don't know if you saw when you log in the app, you get like a point or something.
Okay.
And every time you log in the app, you get a point, and you could get like 25 points per day. So you already know there's gonna be guys trying to up their master collectors. They're gonna be going in and out of the fucking app. You know what I mean? Every second. I was looking at this shit. And I was like, man, this is gonna waste a lot of people's time. Like, you think Instagram like this is bad these days?
True.
Like, you want somebody to upgrade their time or upgrade their master collectors number? They're gonna be going hard, man. You know?
I didn't even think about that, but you're right. If they have like all these little things, like go say hi to 5 people, all of a sudden I'm getting a text every day, hello Chad, and I'm like, okay, like
yeah, it's gonna be nuts. You're gonna be getting
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
there's still a lot
of stuff.
And there's still so much that, like, you know, when people talk about like the Veveverse and all this stuff, I'm like, man, I think it's like still a while away before
a long time for sure, guaranteed. Bro, if Facebook can't make a metaverse this fast, you know what I mean, and they're one of the biggest names out there, then it's gonna take a long time for like a smaller company like Veve to make a huge metaverse. Like there's hardly any metaverse, anything like out right now.
It's crazy you say that because I have a friend who's a software engineer and he was telling me that he works in like the HR. So like I don't know if he's, well, I guess he's not a software engineer. He works for the HR first.
Yeah, but he works for the company, the software.
Yeah, and he was telling me that they offered a guy, I think it was like $550,000, and like he denied because Facebook offered him 620 plus like $120,000 signing bonus. And I was like, that's like, man, like those software engineers, like we could go back. I would have bought 100 Todds and became a software engineer.
Yeah, but it's hard to say because if you're a software engineer, man, your eyes are gonna get fucked. You're looking at the computer and shit all day.
Yeah, well, that's what I do already, man, with research. I'm like literally on the computer. You know?
It's true. And that's what me.
But yo, one thing I wanted to talk about is like you and I are like really into like physical collecting now. Like I find like all Veve did, man, was like get us into comic books hard, got us into Pokemon, like getting me into like physical statues. Like I would have never thought I would have be wanting to buy like a Lord Sauron statue from like Lord of the Rings in my
Mhm.
backdrop, you know? But now like that's something I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool because Veve made it cool. Before that, it was very nerdy to do that. Now it's like, oh, it's okay, you know?
Yeah, and I was like, well, it's kind of sick. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I know. For me, like I think there's always been like, let's say those Funko Pops for an example. I know a bunch of like my friends and shit that collected them for a long time,
Hmm.
but it never has been something for me to like, I don't know, really get into. And then like even comic books, I didn't really take it in that you could grade comic books
Right.
and have them and stuff like that. But I guess like there's collecting for everything. There's people that probably collect fucking thumbtacks, you
True.
know. So
Yeah.
I think we're just like you said, Vivi's just opened our eyes to like a lot of this collecting stuff.
Hmm. You know what I'm gonna do is check the price right now of Robin. I'm just curious.
Oh yeah, do it. Honestly, I don't think it went higher than 24.
Bro, it's 2.7K right now.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And it's oh, another guy just listed his. Man, this Danny boy, Liac.
Man, he's everywhere.
Yeah, he's annoying, bro.
Danny, how much collectibles do you
He's got 2,222 collectibles. I swear to God, everything I'm looking at, he's dropping like 3 things. I don't know if he's like he's actually he had 81 sets. Because I've been paying attention to this guy. Now he's at 77. So Danny boy, man, you gotta
have? Danny,
take a break. You're screwing up the market. He's
Danny,
probably
when Master Collector, if you don't hold those, Master Collector set will fuck you, Danny.
yeah,
Get
yeah.
it?
To be fair, he's probably a big whale, and
Oh yeah,
he's probably just trying to finally have some gems
for
because he
sure.
wants to cash out like a portion, which is
No,
totally fine. But Danny, every time I look at these collectibles, man, I'm like, okay, the floor is 2.9, then Danny comes in 2.6.
no, Danny, we're just a bit jealous.
Yeah, that's it. We're just jealous, man. So yeah,
Jealous.
bro, Robin right now is literally just under, yeah, it's 2680. It was 27 something. So Nightwing's got to be 2. Bro, Nightwing's like 1725. So this is what I'm saying. This is where there's
Mm.
like
Yeah,
it's
they're attacking collectibles.
they're attacking collectibles one by one.
Yeah.
Like, because if this was based on pure collector's knowledge, you would presume that both of those would kind of rise similar because they always have. Robin and
Mhm.
Nightwing for the last year have literally went up
Been tight.
together, down together, like the whole time.
Hmm.
You know?
Yeah, and no offense, but look, which one looks cooler?
Yeah, bro. The Robin obviously with the granny panties, man.
With the shellfish fucking panties,
Yeah.
the little scales on it.
Yeah.
No, but that's insane, man. 2,700.
Yeah, because it was only 1,500 like an hour ago.
Yeah, it doesn't even make sense.
Not an hour, but
Like,
like 3 hours ago.
yeah, well, yeah, like a couple hours ago. But that's how you know people are just like literally pouring their money into that. And there's also nothing coming out. Like Vivi's not making any big moves right now.
It's true.
Which, like, I can't talk shit or anything because I don't know how NFT creating like works on a Vivi scale. But I don't know how, and maybe they want to do it slowly so that way like people could disperse their money or whatever. But I don't know how they can't create like Darth Vader and stuff like this and just like release them. You know, like I thought a guarantee for friggin' the new year or like New Year's Eve that they're gonna release something huge.
I know. I'm not gonna lie, like, because the Steamboat Willie was unreal, but
Yeah, it
like,
was yeah.
like for the last 2 drops being like that low mint common and then the poster, which is like, you think you got 1.5 million users. There's like 3,000 editions between the two. I thought
Yeah.
it was gonna be like at least something cool. Like, it didn't have to be Disney. It could have been like a new DC set or anything, man. Like, I agree. Like,
Mhm.
I think they should have more there for people to kind of get excited about. And then now we got one comic tomorrow, and we don't even know what's happening this whole next week, right? Like,
Yeah,
who knows
exactly.
though? Maybe they're like, we've been acquired by Disney. Take care.
See you later.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard. It's really hard to say what's gonna happen. And let's say Darth Vader releases like tomorrow after this drop, like, oh yeah, like we're releasing Darth Vader in a couple of days.
Right.
You're gonna see a bunch of these collectibles get sold off now.
Yeah. Like my Robin that we are just talking about, that's 2,500 or whatever, it's gonna go down to 1,500 like this.
Yeah, people just go right back.
Yeah.
No, I don't think Rizzo and stuff like that will go back down. Like I think the first
Yeah.
set might go down a couple hundred,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
it won't go
It
right
might
back.
go down to like 12.6, you
Yeah,
know, or something like that. Todd might be like 4.5, but like now that they're so like, yeah, they've been bought
yeah,
up.
they're set now. Like a lot of those guys that have those are just long term holders. So
Yeah, exactly.
it's not none of the paper hands anymore. You know.
And that's how you know it's a grail piece. So I've always said this to people: whenever there's a gem squeeze, go look at what's not selling. That's how you
Yeah.
know. like for instance, in a Gem Squeeze, Secret Rare Spider-Man doesn't really sell. Disney partner statue, Todd, or Rizzo was always fluctuating. I bet you it would stay similar for this. Like, you just
No,
know,
I
okay, that one
exactly.
must be important because it's not going down, you know?
Yeah, because the holders that are holding it know like what it's worth.
Yeah. But you
Yeah,
look at these other ones and they like literally like pump, like they almost go down 50% sometimes, you know?
they go worse than 50.
Man,
They
I
go
feel
like
bad for Steamboat
65% down.
holders, bro. They bought in at like 6.3, some of them.
Yeah, but the thing with Steamboat, yeah, it's first appearance of Mickey in real life. Like
Yeah.
it's the first appearance of what he did. But like we've stressed FA and FE so much to the point where now that Steamboat Willie doesn't have any FE or FA. It's like I feel like people don't think it's worth as much.
Yeah, I think it's like it's 4K now. And it was like down to 3.7 at one point. So I feel
Hmm.
like it will, like I feel like you're right. Like I feel like a lot of people think it's super significant and it's got like all these things going for it. But for me, it's like I just don't know how many more Mickey NFT collectibles they're gonna come out with. Like what if they come out with like another 20 Mickey
Yeah,
NFT this, Mickey NFT that? Like I don't know, right? So like that's why for me, that's what I was saying, like FA is like a safeguard, it's like a protector. It's like, okay, well,
it is.
despite what comes after this, I'm still
Hmm.
the first one, so I'm good, you know?
Yeah, even FE I'd say is a good protector because I feel like let's say Harley Quinn's. This is what actually confuses me. Mickey Mouse first appearance
Mm.
came out, and then the Steamboat Willie came out, and it's the same Mickeys. I don't know why those Mickeys weren't FE, because if you look at the first appearance of Harley Quinn black and white set, and then the red black and white set came out, those are all FE.
It's true.
You know what I mean? So why didn't they make
Yeah.
the Mickey Steamboat Willie set FE?
I mean, it's a
Like
great point. Yeah.
that's why I think Vivi needs to touch up on because they do that stuff sometimes
Consistency.
where it just doesn't even make sense.
I know. I think
You
they
know?
do it like potentially to like get better psychology as to like what people buy and sell so that they can
Hmm.
make more like accurate, like because like that's what I'm confused about. Like, why are you doing like 1,000 minted comic and then giving us like you said, Mickey's without FE status, or like something that isn't that really important with an FA status? Just it's like they're trying to understand like what sells and what people like admire, you know?
Yeah, or like obviously the owners, those guys are big time collectors. You know, and even in the real world, when they used to release the comics and stuff like that, like we've seen, who was it? Remember that comic guy we were talking about? And he was saying pretty much that they released, what was it? Harley Quinn first appearance. They released a bunch of them, and that's why she's not as expensive as like Daredevil, for example.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, I think they might just be trying to replicate the real world, and they're trying to mix stuff up.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Because that's what makes some like yeah, the set that they just released with 1,000 comics. It's not the most popular set, but they just made it popular now because there's only 1,000. So I
Exactly.
think they're just trying to screw with the users. Like that's just how they like. I think that's how collecting is in the real world. So they're almost just trying to integrate that.
True, because you look at it like that, like if the Amazing Spider-Man 252 only had like 30 in existence or something, maybe that would be like this crazy sought after comic
Collect.
because there's just so few.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I mean, it just becomes confusing. The other thing too is we were talking about this the other day was it's not everybody that's also a collector in here. Like I'd argue the majority of people are in here to make money. Like even
Oh,
though we
yeah.
have collecting backgrounds, like my goal is to make money out of this. Like I'm not in here to be like as much as I love this stuff, I also love going to like a beach in like the Bahamas and having a margarita. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And like
Yeah.
having financial security and like paying off things, getting a nice car, like those things are important too. Like paying for your kids' education, like those take the cake, unfortunately, as much as collecting is like amazing. And so I
Hmm.
think that the majority of people in here are just trying to make money. So they're trying to like, find out what gems are there or like make good moves. And I think like a lot of people are presuming that like people are in here to actually collect these things, and if I'm like an actual collector, like I don't know if I would rather have like a 9.5 graded version of a comic in the real world over like something that's on this NFT, like this, NFT version, even though it's like timeless. I just don't know how many collectors feel about that. Like I'm like maybe they're just buying into it because they're like, oh, I like how I can make money off of this. You know what I mean?
Well, that's I think if like let's say these weren't worth anything. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Let's say they're free, and let's say in the real world they're also free. Which one would you rather collect? Would you rather have it on your phone or would you rather have it in the real world? I'd probably rather have it in the real world.
Yeah. Yeah.
If they're both free. So
Yeah.
I think the reason these people are going so hard on these is because the money, bro. Like, remember when we first got in this app? I remember when you showed me this app and you showed me the Todd and the Harley Quinn. I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. You know, I didn't really care. As soon as I got on that fucking Telegram chat and everyone's going 3K for this, 4K for this, 2.5K for this, I was like, holy shit. Like,
Yeah.
now, like, I see a value in it because other people see value in it.
Right.
You
Right.
know, and like if there was no like chat talking about money or anything, I don't even think I would have continued with this.
To be honest, dude, that's what like that's the same thing that happened to me. I was like on the Comey website because it was so new, and I was like, "Here's how you can understand our community." Da, da, da. And then I saw the Telegram group, and then
Mm-hmm.
people talking about Rizzo and Todd, and they were saying like Todd's the first one, and like, and at the time, man, things were only going like Todd's were going like maybe 50 a day. We're going off the shelf. Like,
Yeah, they were going slow, man. We bought in at 1400. I got
yeah, yeah,
1427. I'll never forget that. 1427. Whoever has that right now, that was mine back in the day.
yeah. I was 1444. I got in right after you. Remember you bought it, and then I was like, okay, let me get that. And then I went started with that one, and then I was like, like I bought
Yeah,
a ton more.
hard.
But
Yeah.
yeah, like so, going back to that, like I think it's interesting because that's what got me into it too, is the community. It was like people talking
Mhm.
about it. And then it's interesting because a lot of people that like do influencing now said I was the reason that they started. Like said,
Yeah,
I'm serious. Like a lot of guys will be like, yeah, man, like I got into this because of your
because I
channel.
watched your video. Yeah. Well, bro, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie. Sometimes when I watch, like, obviously you're my brother and stuff, but when I watch the video, sometimes it makes me FOMO. Like, shit, should I go collect that or get that NFT? You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it is like when you hear other people talk about it and also talk about price. Like, it's like anything. You just don't want to miss an opportunity in life, you know, especially one that's this easy. You press buy now and you fucking you can make 3K,
I know.
you know?
Yo, talk about your friend that was in Nova Scotia. That like you got him in the app and then he like got the secret rare like his first drop or something. Like talk
Man,
about
so
that.
I had a few friends. I was living in Cape Breton. I had a few
Cape
friends.
Breton's like Nova Scotia. It's like a province on the east side of Canada. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got four my roommates, Cairo, Owen, Mateo, and Anthony. I got them in on it. And they saw me doing drops. So they were like, what is this? What is this? So, anyways, they all started with $7 comic books. And now they all have, I don't even know, like probably like 4,000 gems. Like Cairo, I think he's doing the best. He's probably got like 5,000 to 6,000.
Yeah.
But I'll never forget, I showed them the comics on the second comic drop. My friend Owen, this guy he gets it's the set there's 699 comic book. All of a sudden he pulls secret rare. And he got like low mint. It was number like 712 secret rare or something.
It's like
And it was the Thanos one at the time. And that's when secret rares were hyped.
wow.
So he starts freaking out, he's screaming and shit. You know, everyone's jumping. I'm freaking out because I'm like, holy, what's the odds of that? Your second drop.
Yeah.
And anyways, yeah, he sold it for like 2.4K or something at the time. And
Jeez.
then like that's when he got hooked, and that's when the whole room just got like hooked.
Yeah.
Because that everyone saw the money you could make in it. And now all these guys talk to me and like they're all hardcore like collectors.
Dude, you know what's sad in a way is like you and I never really got that lucky on drops. I think the best I ever did on a drop was like a 325 death, which was
Yeah.
like, you know what? No, the best I ever did was a ghost trap because I think I
Oh,
got it was
uh,
like 1300 or something at the time, and I sold it.
yeah, and that was super hyped up because it was the first collectible with sound.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's like okay, so like I remember, that was probably the best we've done, and like you got to take into consideration like people have got Marvel 1 SR on a drop. Some other people got secret, like my buddy got like 2 SR Spideys on a drop, you
Hmm.
know? And like it was him and his wife, but I was just like, dude, what the heck? Like, how is that
But
even possible, you know? Like, and they're like 65 grand. Like, my point is like you and I've always had to buy into things.
mhm,
Like I don't even look at drops anymore. It's like I look at the gem squeeze as the way to make money or the actual post
for
drop.
sure.
Like
Yeah.
the drop is not even a mind thing for me. I'm like, I'm not gonna get this. And if I do, it's gonna be
Yeah.
a common. So I like even Frank Kozik, we both got the uncommon because we knew it was the only chance we had of actually getting anything. So I was like, okay, what's
For
the
sure.
highest chance? Okay, uncommon, you know?
Yeah, I never go for ultra rare anymore. Like if there's a drop and it's not a box like a box drop or whatever,
Hmm,
I just go for the uncommon or the rare. You know,
right.
and rare, even the rare is risky. Like
Man.
I think people go for ultra rare and then common. And now uncommons, nobody even like cares. Like it's always like, man, the beginning of like when the market opens after a collectibles released,
Yeah.
the uncommons always go for shit now. Everyone thinks of it as the worst one.
I know. I
It
was
makes no sense.
I was dying because that 252 comic that came out, the common cover, which had like just under 400 mints, was going for like 3.7, and then the uncommon was like like
It's like
2.9.
1.8.
Yeah. But the mints were so much less. It was like 248 mints. I'm like, guys, like, I get you're into the common stuff, but I'm like, the principle here is there's 100 and something less of this. So you got to go, like,
Yeah, like especially
funny.
when you're in that type of a set, like that set's just scarcity. It doesn't even matter about anything else. So what the fuck you going for the common for?
I
Like if you're
know.
buying, like yeah, it's the original cover, but
Yeah,
this doesn't even matter anymore because nobody cares about the original cover in real life, anyways.
yeah,
You
that's what I'm
know,
saying.
so
Like,
just go
you're
for the low
scarcity,
man
that's why
shit.
you're buying into that comic. Like, you're not buying into it because the common cover. But
Yeah,
yeah,
you're buying
that was
into
funny
it.
because I
So
remember the rare. Actually, no, bro. The rare and the common were the same at one point. I swear to you. Like, they were the same
yeah,
price.
bro, I could see that because the rare went down to what was it, 2.7, I think, or
Yeah,
2.4.
it was 2.7, and it was 158 editions compared to 400. Like,
Yeah,
if you think about it, the rare would be like challenging Johnny's scarcity, but like people were still buying into common covers. And the other thing that was weird was like, I was like, hey, you can go get a secret rare comment or cover right now for like, what is that, Better Ray Bill or whatever, the Thor one. It was like
yeah,
2.1,
the Thor, yeah,
2.3. Secret rare, 250 editions, but people were buying into the common at like,
3.6 or something.
yeah, 3.6 for 400 editions. I was like, but you can get like 5 times the rarity and literally half the scarcity, and it's a better comic in the
Yeah,
physical
in the real world.
for
Yeah,
like 2.3K. Like, don't get me wrong, like the scarcity thing makes more sense to me for the rare, the ultra rare, and the secret rare.
yeah,
But
no, that I
honestly,
100%
for
agree.
comparable money, I was dying.
But it is hard to say because like the whole set there's only 1,000
So
easily.
right, so
So
maybe
maybe they
you're
just
like,
want to be a part of the set. You know what I mean?
ooh, that's a good point. I didn't think of it. Yeah, you're like,
So it's
hey, I
hard.
just want to be part of this club. It's fucking sick. Like, I got you.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
but I don't know who fucking knows.
yeah.
I wouldn't buy that shit. I'm not buying
No,
that. I don't
I
believe
mean,
in it. I wouldn't buy it.
yeah, and I think like that's what I mean. Like when you scale out, right? Like I just don't know what it means long term. But there's a lot of people, man. Like there's been people that have been like, I hope you're one of the smart ones and thinks that like scarcity wins the day. And I'm like, dude, like I could be wrong. Like I don't.
Yeah,
I say that to people. I'm like, this is all I'm doing is providing perspective. Like I'm not telling you what to think or do. You know what I mean? Like I
for
could be
sure.
totally wrong. Like scarcity could be the number one thing that like people care about, but my opinion, it's going to be the popular things because over time they're going to be scarce. So like if you have thousands of Supermans from all these different NFT platforms, you're only going to ever have one first appearance. So despite
Hmm.
it being 8888, like in the future, that's going to be like in a world context, and you think about the demand for Superman, like that is scarce in relative context to the demand on VV. Scarce items I think have more weight because you're confined into this little ecosystem and you're going and buying the stuff that everyone could FOMO in. So like going to OpenSea, you can buy one of ones for like $100. If they
Yeah,
came to VV and were like one of 40, people would freak out and buy it for like 10K. Do you
for
see what
sure.
I mean? But
Yeah,
on
it's in the
OpenSea,
TV world.
nothing. So as soon as you take away the ecosystem and you're not in a confined environment and it's just open, and that's what I'm saying. Like as soon as this stuff goes off app, and if it's like actually interoperable and doesn't live on VV, like dude, like you imagine you can take a Secret or Spider-Man off app. That like anybody that looks up Spider-Man NFT and sees that's the first one's gonna go crazy. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, yeah. Any Marvel collector, they're gonna want that shit. Yeah.
So that's where my issue is. But like if everything stays in VV and scarcity and everyone's like eyes are on these things, then I can understand why they would skyrocket because it's cool within VV. It's social capital within VV, you know?
But yeah, it also depends on what VV like tends to do in the future. Like if VV keeps releasing, like look at the decon, all the decon shit that happened.
Yeah.
All those were low man. Some of them went up, some of them stayed down. Like look at the like on a can you check on your phone right now the shut up and draw collectible? I think that thing's going for $400, and it completes
Yeah.
a set, and it's only 888. So like that's a perfect example of like a collectible nobody really wants, you know, and it's low man.
Mm. Let me see.
Yeah, see if you can find it.
What'd you call it, sir? Oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
called Shut Up and Draw. It's a little fucking guy.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know if you've had this, but VV does this weird thing where it like doesn't let you.
Oh, it doesn't show the collectible.
No, like you could see it, but then you like look at the prices and it like says no, like it then I have to refresh the app and then I go back and then I could see it.
Yeah, for me, I press on it and it says like no collectibles available, and then I have to swipe out of the app.
Okay, let me check.
Yeah, check it out.
But I know what you're saying, because it's like, okay, you have these things that are scarce still, but like the hype isn't there. Even though like you could be like, if scarcity is your main play, then that would be an extremely good buy. You know?
Yeah,
So
like if
obviously
scarcity is the main play, what did you say?
there obviously has to be a lot of demand, you know?
Yeah, it's because that's like this shut up and draw thing for me is the perfect example of why scarcity is not like that good. But scarcity and popularity at the same time, holy shit! Like
Exactly.
that's your Secret Rare Spider-Man, for example.
That's exactly it. Like that, if you can get two of those together, like if Superman was like 1,000 editions, same thing would happen, right?
Yeah,
Like
100%.
it'd probably even
And
be,
same thing's already happening with Superman. It'll probably follow a Todd.
yeah. Yeah, so I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, what's it at?
Fat Cat Bronson actually might be another big one because Snoop Dogg and all those guys might like prop it up, and there's only 888 of that. That's like 1.5K.
Yeah, that's also the thing you got to think about.
$425. So think about that. Like
Yeah,
Fat Cat is 3 times. It's the same mints, but it's 3 times the price, if not 4 times the price, right?
yeah. And
Yeah.
like, look at Terry Dodson, bro. Like, man, Terry, that's the one thing. Like, I think Terry Dodson, it's just a matter of time before that gets pumped. 750 editions, and you know what else? 750.
Yeah.
There's no other collectible in the entire app that's 750 editions. It's such a random edition number.
It's true. It's true. It is unique.
You know,
It's sexy, man. That one is sick. Yeah.
bro, that's our go-to. Like, that's straight nostalgia for us from like last year when we got it.
Bro, Danny Boy's in there with 2 listings.
Bro, Danny Boy is everything. We couldn't even.
3
Danny Boy
listings.
probably is every fucking collectible in the app.
Yeah. Man, he's literally like, yeah. But yo, I agree. Like, this is such a nice one.
Yeah, it's so nice.
What's your take on Coke? Because, okay, those snow globes came out. I'm not gonna lie, I had a few of them, the secret rares. I thought they were gonna pump because I was like, okay, regardless of what the product is, it's Coke. And I was like, Coke is like a bigger industry than Disney. So I was like thinking that this thing was gonna fly. But then I was also like, it's a damn snow globe. And do people like, I was like, I don't know. And the thing that pissed me off was the secret rare snow globe looked so boring. Like it was one Coke bottle with like a few juice, and the comment looked amazing.
Yeah, with the polar bear.
But I'm like, it could go to 10K. I could see the secret rare going to 10K just because people are like, this is the first Coke NFTs on Veve that you can buy. Because if you look, they did have one major sale on OpenSea, but it was like 500 and something thousand, but it was like a one of one thing. And so you couldn't really technically buy it. So now you have Coke on Veve, despite it being snow globes. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
So the thing I find with Coke, like if you think about when Coke came out, right? And Coke's one of the biggest collectibles in the world.
Yeah.
I feel like Coke doesn't hit the target audience in Veve. Like you're saying it's 25 to 50-year-olds collecting, like they'd want Darth Vader stuff they grew up with.
Right.
And I feel like Coke is almost a bit too far past us.
It's like antique stuff. It's like older people. Yeah.
It's almost older people. It's very antique. Like they collect old Coke bottles and bottles that haven't been opened and stuff like that. Like I don't see the value. I see value in it being the first Coke NFT, but I don't see the value in a snow globe.
Yeah.
Like that thing's in the air for me. It's a 50-50. I don't know where it would go.
Yeah, same. I don't know. And I got out of those when it was like 1.6, 1.7, because I just was like, you know what, I'd rather take my money and go. And even if it runs, I'm just like, I just don't want a part of it,
And even in the summer, like I don't know, it's like being a collector and holding stuff and showing people your collectibles. I don't want to be showing a snow globe midsummer.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm like, yeah, look at this Christmas special.
Bro, like I think that's why Deadpool hasn't taken off like it should have, is because of that exact reason too, right? Like he's wearing Christmas stuff, and it's like, man, like I'm moved on from that. I don't want to think about that right now. Like I've got work to think about. We're in lockdown right now. I don't want like Deadpool singing like Merry Christmas. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Yeah. So I agree. Like I think that's another thing. Like even Holiday Groot, same thing. Like,
Man, for me, because now that's the FA of Groot. They could have done so much cool shit with Groot.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy. Him full grown, like that's a crazy collectible that they could have done.
It's true.
And instead they put him in a spot.
So true, like 1,000 editions, like
yeah, just like this little stupid guy that just screams and shit. I don't know. It's hard to say, but even that. Remember how you're talking about like, let's say Captain America, how that's not the FA. Like, let's say they release another Groot now, and he looks crazy sick. Who knows if people are going to go into that now?
Yeah.
You know, because like, oh, it's not FA.
Well, here's the other thing too that like could screw things up big time. It's like, what if they just come in and be like, okay, we're gonna release a new Superman, 500 editions, first edition, black suit, animated, flying into the friggin' cosmos. You know what I mean? Like they could just come out with that, and then all of a sudden, boom, that thing's 10,000. You know, like, but I'm just saying, like, there's so many things that we don't know, and like, so like, you have these grails on the app now, but like, things could change like that, bro. Like, and that's what's freaky is like, you might think FA means a ton now with Superman, but what if they release like 50 more Supermans and they're all more scarce than that first one? You know, like it kind of reminds me like Harley Quinn FA, right? Like you would think that Harley Quinn FA would be worth a lot more. It's like 570, but now you have like FE Harley Quinn at HQ 19 going for like 10K, 11K.
Yeah, that's a good point right there. That's something I think about. But I feel like Superman's a bigger collectible than Harley Quinn. Like I think,
Yeah.
let's say they release another Superman with 500 editions. Yeah, it will probably surpass the 8,888.
Yeah.
But it will still be like the FA will still be huge. You know what I mean? And the new Superman, they'll both be huge. So
Yeah.
it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. Like remember that Batman that's in the black and white series, and he sits in the fucking throne.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like when that gets released,
Dude,
I'll
that's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying about Rizzo. So like as much
yeah,
as Rizzo's first ever set, like Amanda Connor is a perfect example.
yeah,
We never bought an Amanda Connor because of that reason. Like Rizzo, we have already FA Batman, then you have all these other FEs from the first set, then you have FE Rizzo UR. So why am I going to go buy an Amanda Connor that's not FE FA? Like it just didn't make any sense.
there's
Right?
no point.
Yeah. So like you said, if you have a sicker looking Batman that comes into this app, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like Rizzo is kind of protected because it's first set and first UR.
Yeah,
But Amanda Connor could eat shit because all of a sudden now, sorry, I feel so bad for Amanda. I mean, she's probably a fantastic artist, but I'm saying like she might get screwed on that
yeah,
because now like you're gonna have like a cooler looking Batman, so to speak, come in, and then people are gonna be like, oh, I don't want to have Amanda Connor because I can get like this one for the same amount of mints that's not FEFA, but it just looks better in their opinion, right?
well, look at like we talked about Dad Bod Batman.
Mm.
You know, nobody like that thing was going for like I don't even know how much it is now, but I think at the time it's like $325 or something.
Yeah.
It's because didn't have a FE, didn't have a FA, and it just looked like whatever. It was just like another Batman. Like there's so much Batman's already in. But if they like, let's say they release this one in the throne, it's pretty much Rizzo sitting down in a friggin' throne with his cape like hanging over. Like it looks unreal. Like
Yeah.
I I think just because the look of that one, and depending on how like scarce they make it, just the look of that one is gonna make that price go like to the moon. Like who doesn't want that sitting right at the back of their fucking showroom and shit, you know?
It's true.
Like
It's so true.
so I don't know, they'll test it, but
Yeah. Man, that's interesting that you say that, dude. Like, that's kind of where my head's going to now. I'm kind of like,
yeah, but there's like there's nothing we could like you can't predict the future and we don't know anybody that works for Vivi. So we don't know ins and outs. We don't know anything. So what happens like just collect what you like and collect what you think's gonna go up. That's all you could do.
Exactly. And nobody knows. Like, and that's the thing. People will tell you they know, but they don't. Like, even people that are like everybody that I met on here, even the smartest people, still made mistakes. Still were like, I sold that off when I shouldn't have, or I collected all these and they didn't take off like I thought they would, or whatever, right? Like, and there's other people in here, man, like millions of dollars, like of collectibles. Like I know personally people with over 5,000 to 6,000 collectibles, like so. I mean, it's just hard. It's hard to say, right? And the thing that I find is like right now, things are seem like they're almost being like manipulated. Like people are going into these like NFTs and like pumping them up, and it's just like that one NFT, and then as soon as that NFT rises, then they like sell it off, and then they go into the next thing.
Yeah,
And it's happening a lot more than people
for
think.
sure. And the people that aren't in those groups that aren't riding the pump, like and then when they buy in at a high, like look at him. Remember when him went to 30K?
36 was the floor at one
Yeah.
point.
Ooh, imagine like so obviously somebody had to buy it, the ones that went up to that.
Yeah,
So people are buying in at 20 something K because I'm sure there was him supposed to at 20K to rise it.
it's true.
So whoever bought at 20K got freaking screwed, man. Because now that they're at 7K.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
You know, that's a perfect example of like then that was probably like some people just thought it was pumping. Because when I saw him pump, I went immediately to Professor and I bought Professor instant because I was like, holy shit, Professor's about to pump, and it did just a bit, and then
Yeah.
it got and Mickey dropped.
Damn. You know, it's interesting that you say that because the other thing I look at too, man, is that all this money, because it can't be extracted from the app, people are just moving the money around. So it's like new drop happens. Like, so perfect example, like Mickey UR, right?
Mhm.
I had 15, no, I had 2 grand at the drop day. And I was like, oh, I'm definitely gonna land this because partner came out at 1,500. So I was like, if I have two
Yeah,
grand, I was like, it's an extra, you know, just under 3,000 mints. I'm like, I know it looks amazing, but I was confident 2 grand was like good enough, right? Especially because the other collectibles were like also challenging the scarcity because there was common and uncommon. So I was like,
mm-hmm.
okay, like those other ones people want to buy into, so it should be a lower floor. It comes out, first of all, this transactions were slow. So the market opened when there was only like
It
maybe
screwed everything.
20%. Yeah, it screwed everything. And then so they started off at like 2.6, went to like 3.5, 4.5. And then I was like, okay, I'm done. Like I can't do anything. Waited till the next day. And the other reason I was going to say why these things were so high is because so many people I know got 2 or 3 partner statues because like everybody's stocked up on partners and then Florida partner for Steamboat. So then now they have like 12, 13K. So they see them coming out at like 4K. They're like, whatever, I'll buy
Oh,
2, I'll buy 3. Yeah, then they all waited for them to rise to 6.2, and then
sold
they
them.
sold off their duplicates and then went up and then had like 8 to 10K to play with in everything else. That was literally like a massive proportion of like Veve users did that.
Yeah, I know, and it's hard to like. That's why it's hard when if you start off with like I don't know 100 gems, it's gonna take you 6 months to stack that up to 5K, 6K.
Bro.
You know,
You
like
gotta
these
have like
big.
leverage.
What do you say?
You're right, you gotta have leverage. Like today, I had
Yeah.
like 22. What did I start off the day with? 2,500 liquid. I'm
Mm,
not gonna say what I flipped, but I flipped a few things to 3,300, and then I bought another Robin and Nightwing, and then now that's like I don't know what that's at. But I'm probably gonna hold until those hit a significant price, and then sell one of them off. You know?
yeah, and then the money you made from selling that one was the money you put into it. So now you have a free collectible. It's worth let's say 6 grand or something.
Yeah, but like you said, if you have $100, like what are you gonna go do? Buy one of these probably like I don't know, common collectibles, like or like a Steve Rogers, buy 3 of those, or like you
It's
know what I
hard.
mean? I feel like I would start off if I had like $300 right now, I'd probably go buy a Wonder Woman like right off the bat.
Hmm.
Because I'm like, okay, that's like 10,000 mints, similar to Superman in terms of popularity. Wait till that hits
Yeah,
600, sell it at 6, then go look for the next best thing at 6. Like it just keeps scaling.
it's funny. It's just like stocks. Like when I was super into stocks and stuff back when Corona first started, I was always watching like Warren Buffett talk about that. And Warren, he was always saying like your first 100 grand is the hardest to make. And he's like, once you make the 100 grand and you learn from making that 100 grand, then to make 1 million, it's easy.
Wow.
You know, start
Yeah.
off with under like if let's say you're starting at $1,000, if you could turn that $1,000 into 100 grand, you could easily become a millionaire. Because now that 100 grand like turning into 1 million, then that million turning into fucking 20 million, it's way easier from that point. So I think it's the same thing with VV. Once you get gems, like once these big whales that have 50,000 gems, like let's say Pokemon comes out and Pikachu's are like let's say the common and they're going for 200 gems. This guy's 50 grand. He's just gonna go all in. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? He'll raise the price alone to fucking 2 grand just
Yeah.
by buying.
But that's the thing though. Now there's so many damn whales that like some of this is actually artificially propped. So like for
Oh
instance, like, if Pikachu comes out as 25,000 mints, right? Like to me, the floor on that Pikachu should be like 3K. But because there's so many people buying into it, it would
mhm.
be like 12K because there's so much money in the app. And that's the
Yeah,
concerning part, you know?
released?
What's that?
You say 25,000 or 2,500?
Like I was saying, like if there was 25,000 editions of Pikachu, I
Mm-hmm.
still think that floor would hit like 3K like immediately.
Oh yeah, just because it's Pikachu.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it'd probably go to 12 is what I'm saying, like for one
Oh
out of 25,000 minutes. Like
yeah,
that's
people pumping it.
yeah.
Mhm.
But I'm like,
Where
it sucks because like for people like you and I that could have bought like let's say if it wasn't for all these bigger whales, you could have bought like 7 or 8. You know what I mean? Now you can buy 2 or 3. Do you see what I'm saying? Like it's just like and there's only so much that can continue is what I'm saying before people just get priced out. Before you have a new user coming in, they're like, oh, I want a Pikachu, and it's like 10 grand. It's like you know.
But that's just like the real world, the same shit, you know.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, true.
that's why the rich get richer every time.
Every
So
time. But then
yeah,
also the poor can make smart moves, man. And I mean, like, you know,
and you
like,
get lucky drop. Like my friend when the decon came out, my friend Anthony on I forget the little rabbit thing. I forget what it's called, but there's 666 made.
well, why am I like not
He's
taking?
like, it
Oh
looks
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. Sorry, he bought all the serial killer stuff, right?
no, not your decon, like the little rabbit.
Oh,
You'll know to see it. It's a little rabbit. He's holding like a little hammer or something, and it looks like graffiti on him.
okay. Is a picture?
No, it's a collectible.
Okay.
But anyway, so 666 made. I think he got number 49 on the drop. Just got lucky.
Wow.
He sold it at the time for 2.9K or something, and I think the floor price right now is 2.4.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah, so if he would have just held like that, that's probably like a $5,000, $6,000 collectible now.
Jeez.
So
Perfect example, right? Like you just land these things on the drop, but there was nothing I've ever landed on the drop that was like actually taken off to the
yeah,
extent
I've landed a couple sub 100 shit to be honest.
you've had some nice ones, yeah.
Yeah, pretty good sub 100s, but that was mostly back in the day when like it was first person to press it is the one that gets it.
It's true.
You know, so
Now,
and then bought
scary,
there
bro.
and that shit. Huh?
Now even at 40,000 editions, like if you don't press it like at that right time, you get
Yeah. If you don't press it in a split second, you don't even get it. And that's like yeah, like you said, like 40,000.
man, it pisses me off people that got like Walt on the drop, man. Like they're like, yeah, I just got a Walt on the drop. I'm like, and they're like crazy mints, like 106 Walt, you know, like you
Yeah.
literally just made 25 grand off of $333, you know?
Yeah, it's like winning a lottery. Like if you pull a 41 wall, you pretty much just got the best collectible in the app.
Like the crazy part to me is like, other than bots, if somebody actually pulls like the 41 Charizard when it comes out, imagine if like Charizard comes out, it's like 6,000 editions or something, and somebody pulls 41, like you're instantly making $250,000 plus.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. I wouldn't even sell that. I'd just be like, yeah, like I got the first like I would never sell that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
First ever Charizard, like NFT version, like come on. You
I'd
know?
sell it for like a new house, a beautiful car, and like 3 years off work, you know. But other than that,
Yeah, me too, actually, now I think
but
about
to
it.
be fair, like the thing is again, and this is what like we're talking about with like the social part, is like if then I use that for NFT Pirates, I'm like, here's the 41 Charizard. Like, dude, people are gonna like be like, wow, like can I rent that out? Can I use this? Like that's crazy that you got it. Like, so the thing is like Vivi's getting so big now that eventually people are gonna use these collectibles. Like even like you talked about today, like Terry Dodson, 750 editions. Like despite what people might think of that collectible, like there's only less than 1,000 holders, similar to Secret Rare Spider-Man. Like,
Yeah.
but it's 250 editions less than Secret Rare Spider-Man. Yeah, okay, it's not maybe like as popular, but it still looks crazy cool. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It could get to a point where like holding these things that are scarce might be the best thing, man. I don't know. Like it just depends on where it goes. Like I would argue again, popularity would win, Superman, whatever, but it might switch back. And I'll never forget like the comic Way said that to me one time. He's like, you know, scarcity is where it's at, man. He's like, I noticed in comic books, like everybody just cares about like whatever is like you can't get. That's what people want, you know.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, like the crazy part is with these scarce items on Vivi, if you go to the market, you see them like you know in the top corner where it says how much are listed.
Yeah,
Like these scarce items, there's only like 20 listed or some shit.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
5 of those get bought, they jump up by like 3-4K with like 5 of them getting bought. So all it takes, like for it to jump, like look at like him when we were talking about
Yeah.
him, probably 5 of them got bought and it went to 36 grand.
Yeah, exactly. It was actually 36. It was just there were just five that were before that
There's
number.
just I posted, and then everyone that had the hymns were like, "Holy shit, they're 5 or 36 grand here. Let me just sell one, you know, because I'll make a ton off." And then that's when it started going back down.
True.
But it's not hard to pump these like these collectibles that aren't like low mint. Like we already saw with the comics, the
Yeah.
1,000 comics that just got released. You know, so yeah, like a Terry Dawson is 750. It's only a matter of time before that gets pumped. And like Harley Quinn 19 is already pumped. It's at
Yeah.
11. So
Yes.
how's the right behind it not right up its ass? You know?
Yeah. And I mean, like, again, like it's crazy, right? Because the only thing that's threatens scarcity is the fact that we don't know what Vivi's releasing. So if they're always going to be releasing things that are 250 editions, 200 editions, 180 editions, like let's just say weekly, then like some of this other stuff like will go down, and like the things that are popular that are like one of ones like FA Batman as an example, they're only ever one of those. So if there's like thousands of Batmans and there's scarce ones, cool ones, FE ones,
Mhm.
there's one Batman, then that becomes scarce within the relative context of all the other ones. But it's like if there isn't that many scarce collectibles dropping, and like that HQ19 is like the lowest minted thing you'll ever see for Harley Quinn, then bro, like that's definitely a banger, you know?
Yeah, I also think though FE like still matters huge. You know, like there's
Yeah,
only, let's say they drop 100 100 Harley Quinns. Like they already dropped 3 more Harley Quinns, or 4. It was a 3 4, maybe 4.
yeah,
But they're,
that new set, right?
yeah, that new set with the bomb in the hand or whatever,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and they're not worth much.
No, there's a lot right now because there's like you said, there's that set,
Hmm.
and then there's the other one that they released that was part of the bombshells,
Oh
HQ2.
yeah,
So
yeah,
there's four like
yes,
sets
yeah, that have Harley Quinn,
with Harley Quinn in it, right? So
and
that's an
that's like,
example of like
yeah,
how this stuff's playing out.
and that's just the beginning of like that's just the beginning of Vivi. So imagine how much Harley Quinns they're gonna release in the future,
Some
because
sort
then they're definitely gonna do like the Suicide Squad Harley Quinn version.
yeah.
You know, do a bunch of them. So those Harley Quinns, low mint FE, like those, even the Harley Quinn '08. Remember that's one of my favorite collectibles by far, just because the look of it. Like
Yeah,
that's at $360.
it's crazy.
It makes no sense. Like that's one of the nicest collectibles in the app.
And it's crazy because back in the day, I remember people were trying to like make me buy that for like 1.3K. They're like,
Yeah,
yo, give it to me right now for like 1,300 gems. This is the only misprint. Remember? Like that was
yeah,
huge,
this brand, yeah,
you know? But it's like crazy because like that back in the day again, within a little small ecosystem was like a big deal. And now it's like whatever, you know, people don't even think about it, you know?
yeah. But that, bro, it's going for 360. It's probably the cheapest it's ever been, like since this year started.
And that's the crazy part. Like if you hold the wrong, that's what I'm saying. Like you hold the wrong stuff, like even though it could go up or it could like, you know, maybe go like twice as what its value was, but like you could
Hmm.
have bought something else that was like gonna go up like tenfold, right? And that's what
Hmm.
I say right now, like Robin Nightwing, this whole thing, like I'm like, okay, how come they're not like symbiotic? Like they should almost be moving as a team, even though most people would say like Robin's, you know, more significant, but it's like it's just like crazy to me, you know. Now it's back down, bro. Now it's like 2,200. It's just like a pump.
What, the Robin?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was like
Yeah,
27, and then like people probably like now they're like waiting for like a release from VV, you know?
yeah, yeah. Now they're like, okay, I made my gems release PV.
So
Yeah,
fun.
yeah, it's crazy.
Man, it's funny. This guy just says Pirates, man. He's like, go live, don't be lazy. I'm like,
Cool.
I don't know
Crazy.
what that means. The thing with live is that people don't understand is like it's actually a lot because like people could ask you questions that are tough or like you know you might say the wrong thing. It's like when you record something, you just like have like you just know what's coming out, you know?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I don't mind. Live's good, but I mean, when everyone's asking these friggin' random questions, then
Yeah.
I'm just like,
All right, big guy. Well, let's cut it off, man, because I think we've been chatting for a while here. Holy,
yeah, what do we got?
yeah, I don't even know how long it's been, but it's probably been like a
Yeah,
few hours. So people are not even gonna watch this and be like, "All right, we gotta cut this off." But yeah, it was fun, man. I mean, like, I just really want to have an informal chat with you because I don't know, like we've been here since the beginning and seen it all happen. So it's just like good to hear, you know, your thoughts and stuff, and be good to
yeah,
get you back on the channel, man, and just like you know actually do some videos with you.
yeah, it'll be nice. Yeah, we should definitely do some more videos soon,
Yeah, 100%.
especially covering collectibles that will be coming out and stuff as well.
Yeah, 100%, bro. So I'm gonna throw this up tonight, and we'll see. I'm gonna call it like informal chat with the soccer legend Larso.
Soccer legend. Oh,
Show him all your medals quick. Look at this guy.
my room's a bit dirty, but flip this around.
Yeah, look at that. How many are there?
I don't even know. There's like so much, and then that whole piece of wood has all these medals on it too.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, big guy. Thanks, man.
All right, bro. Thanks
All
for
right.
having me.
Yeah, it was fun. It was good.
Yep, it was fun.
All right, boss. We'll talk to you soon. Okay. All
All right, see you soon.
right. See you, bud.
All right, peace.